What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today I want to talk about a process called budget reconciliation because this is a process that is currently taking place as we speak. And as of today, February 5th, there has been a big milestone that has been reached in this process that could help make this $1.9 trillion stimulus package a reality. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what this process is, the steps of this process, and I'm also going to be talking about the $1.9 trillion package, what it means for you, and when we could potentially see those stimulus checks. So let's get started. So as of today, Friday, February 5th, lawmakers are currently going through the process of implementing a budget reconciliation. Now, I did a video on budget reconciliations. I really kind of dived deep into what this process is and what it could look like in the context of a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. So if you're interested in really diving deep into this concept, then I will link that video down in the description below. But for the sake of this video, if you don't know what a budget reconciliation is, basically what it is it's a way for lawmakers to pass a bill without having to have 60 Senate votes. So it decreases the voting threshold that is required for bills to become a law. That's basically a very layman's and simplified way of explaining the process. Well, as you guys know, President Joe Biden, his administration, and Democratic lawmakers introduced a $1.9 trillion stimulus package a few weeks before he was sworn in. Of course, and to the surprise of no one, Republican lawmakers have pushed back on this bill. This bill includes a ton of government funding, including money going to vaccines, to COVID testing, to local schools and local governments, to childcare facilities, to foreclosures and eviction bans, as well as a $15 minimum wage, expanded and boosted unemployment benefits, as well as a $1,400 stimulus check. There are a number of key issues that Republican lawmakers have pushed back on, most notably a $15 minimum wage, as well as a $1,400 stimulus check. And even though President Joe Biden and his administration have expressed interest in negotiating with Republican lawmakers, we still haven't had a whole lot of headway in really negotiating anything meaningful off of this package. Though I will say earlier this week, 10 GOP senators did meet with President Biden and his administration to discuss a streamlined, skinned-down $600 billion stimulus package. Well, one path that Democratic lawmakers are pursuing, kind of as an alternate path, is the process of budget reconciliation. And like I mentioned earlier, this process is a way to expedite budget and spending related bills by decreasing the voting threshold that is required by lawmakers in order for a bill to become a law. Well, the very first steps in this process have officially begun, and the most notable step is one that took place today, and that was the vote-a-rama. Now, I'm serious. This is actually called a vote-a-rama, which is a very strange name for a very official process. But a vote-a-rama is basically a back and forth floor vote by senators, and it's a way for senators to discuss and, in a way, negotiate the bill that's going to be addressed through a budget reconciliation. So lawmakers met today. They discussed back and forth about this budget reconciliation, about the $1.9 trillion stimulus packages. Each senator had a chance to speak up about their concerns of this $1.9 trillion package, and then at the end they voted, and the vote passed. So the budget reconciliation has passed in the Senate. Well, now begs the question of what does that mean for you, and what are the next steps in this process, and most importantly, when are you getting your stimulus check? Well, this is the first step of a multi-step process to get a budget reconciliation passed. The first step was for it to pass in the Senate. The second step is for it to pass in the House, which is expected to happen in the coming days or so. And the third step is to then write the bill. So they are going to be writing the bill off of the points and the discussions that were had during the vote-a-rama. The bill will then be drafted, and then the bill will undergo a traditional vote. But the difference here is that the vote will only need to pass by 51 senators rather than 60 senators. So the vote should be expedited if everything goes as planned. Now, lawmakers are hoping to have this process continue and to potentially be completed by March 14th, which is just a little bit over a month away. That's the goal as of right now, and that's kind of the preliminary deadline that lawmakers have put into place. But the real question is, will lawmakers actually get this done done by then, and that's something that we don't know. The fact is, there is still bound to be a lot of pushback by Republican leaders because of a few different reasons. Number one, the fact that we're doing a budget reconciliation does not change the fact that some Republican lawmakers are very concerned about some of the facts and figures that are outlined in this package, most notably the $15 minimum wage as well as $1,400 stimulus checks. Republican lawmakers are also concerned with a number of other issues, including giving stimulus checks to illegal immigrants and giving money to local and state governments. So this is also bound to be an issue that is discussed quite heavily in the coming weeks. Additionally, there is a lot that cannot be done through the process of budget reconciliation. A budget reconciliation can do a lot, but it also can't do a lot as well. And you are bound to see some pushback by Republican lawmakers on whether or not it's even legal to proceed with this bill through the process of budget reconciliation. So it will be interesting to see how this is played out and how this is handled in the coming weeks. And lastly, President Joe Biden has said that he is willing to negotiate on this bill. He has said that he's willing to negotiate on stimulus checks. He's willing to negotiate on a handful of the other factors laid out in this bill. And so it will be interesting to see if he's still willing to negotiate once this process continues and once this bill looks likely of passing through the process of budget reconciliation. So there are a number of things at play here, and I do think it will be very interesting to see how it plays out in the next month. But with that being said, if things go smoothly with the budget reconciliation and with this vote completed by lawmakers, and if Republican and Democratic lawmakers cannot reach an agreement on the bill without the process of budget reconciliation, then we could potentially see something passed within the next month. And that means that we could potentially see a $1,400 stimulus check within the next 6 to 8 weeks. Keep in mind, though, that negotiating with Republican lawmakers is something that's still on the table. President Joe Biden has expressed intense interest of being bipartisan, and budget reconciliation is kind of a last-ditch effort rather than a first priority. And if he's able to pass this bill through a bipartisan vote, through negotiations, it does look like he will pursue that path if he feels that it's a viable one to pursue. Honestly, though, I think it will be interesting to see how this process plays out in the coming weeks. One thing I would like to note, the last time I made a video talking about budget reconciliation, this was the video that I mentioned earlier that is linked down in the description below. And in that video, I got a lot of comments talking about how budget reconciliation was an unconstitutional and unfair path for Democratic lawmakers to pursue, and that this entire ploy was just simply a Democratic ploy to get a bill passed in the Democrats' favor. And I wanted to address that really quickly because the fact is a budget reconciliation is actually a nonpartisan political tactic. This is something that has historically been used by both sides of the aisle. It's been used by Democrats in the past, it's been used by Republicans in the past, and it will continue to be used by both parties in the future as well. This is simply a way to expedite the process of passing budget-related bills, and it has nothing to do with the Democratic Party. They are just simply the ones using it right now. In fact, the most recent time, other than current day, that this budget reconciliation process was used was in 2017 by Republican lawmakers as a way to try to overturn the Affordable Care Act. And even though it is being used by Democratic lawmakers right now, it does not mean that it is used exclusively by Democratic lawmakers. And the fact is, it is a nonpartisan political tactic used by both sides of the aisle. With that being said, you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have anything to add, then make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.